Hello and welcome to Star Wars News and Weekly Comic Recap presented by Tales from the Darkside. This week we're covering new comic release Star Wars Dr. Aphra number 11, where Aphra gets her in for the big auction. And we learn why Marco has to keep reading that comic for now, anyway. In Star Wars High Republic number 6, we'll discuss if this title has finally turned the corner, becoming interesting, or if we must continue to hope for something interesting in the next issue. Speaking of High Republic, the writers of the Star Wars High Republic novels virtually gathered round and gave us insight into their storyline goals, collaborations, and Star Wars inspirations. Hey, somewhere in the mix tonight, JJ has another It's a Trap for us with a character I've never heard of. You know, at this point, I think he's making them up, but hey, we keep going with it.
Sometimes.
Topps revealed its intentions for its 2021 Masterwork trading cards. We'll have opinions and some questions, and we'll review and talk about Bad Batch Episode 10, Common Ground, and will someone please pay off my debts? Let's get it going.
When are we gonna quit calling it virtual too? Like, it's just the interwebs. Can we go back to that? Like, people are just on the interwebs talking. Like, at this point, like, it's not virtual anymore. It's kind of better because I'm sick of old panel days. You know, when they had them on the panels and you could only hear one person, then somebody was like, "Oh, thank you, thanks for that. Thanks for that insight. It's great." Okay.
Or you were so far away from the camera you couldn't see who was who, and like, who's that talking?
Right. What else do we got, Jedi?
Well, I can do my intros to you guys.
As you should.
Do it. All right. Hey, speaking of writing novels, he plans to write a fact-based documentary novel entitled Han Shot First, Nothing Else Matters. It's Macho Man Marco.
That's the truth. That is the truth. Now we're getting
coincidentally, this panelist also plans to author a new book entitled I Said It First, but it really doesn't matter. It's the guy behind the curtain, JJ Maxwell. Hey, he's still steaming about canceling dad jokes, but we calmed him down with some blue milk and Wookiee cookies.
Thank God we're done.
Yeah, Wookiee cookies are a real thing in the Star Wars universe. You know, you learn a lot writing these intros. Solo Wookiee is here with crumbs in his beard.
Bring back the dad jokes.
Hey, when he gets a free minute, we get another video. He knows collecting and how we crave it, and his channel feeds that hunger in all of us. It's Pete Rennavision.
Hey,
this guy, hey, what about me?
Go ahead. Sorry,
hey,
about you.
This guy wrote a very angry letter to Ancestry.com when the results of his DNA test came back without a trace of midichlorians. Still waiting on a reply to that letter, but yeah, that's me, Jedi Johnson 22. Something wrong there.
Did you really do that? Hey, speaking of Rennavision, make sure you're over there at Rennavision. He is doing a giveaway for 700, so make sure you're following him. I just want to give this disclaimer. We should have probably done it where we scroll. This is a tape show this week. We all have got families and plans too. So if you see kids running in the middle of it, just ignore them. It's daytime, which I was told, Dad, you don't go on the internet on the daytime. And I was like, well, today's the day it is. So
the water instead of the usual drink today.
Yeah. So that's what we got going on. But we didn't want to leave you guys without it, even though the whole holiday is going on. Hopefully everybody's having a great holiday. 4th of July and Independence Day. I don't even know what we're supposed to call anything anymore, but I don't care because Han shot first. So we'll start off with comic recaps. There's we only did 2. You know, there was a second half to the book that already came out of the Luke Skywalker one, which
the smuggler thing?
Yeah, which is fine. It was what we thought it was. Maybe it wasn't for you, so hopefully you read it. But like recovering something that we've already read 3 times, once in German and twice in English, I didn't feel like we needed to recover that. But oh well. All right, we did, and as Jedi mentioned in the intro, we do have the Dr. Aphra, and I said if they kill him off, like I'm done. Oh, but before we do that,
Pickups.
You guys got to give me the pickups.
Yep.
All right, Jedi, give us the pickups.
All right. Well, I'm only showing two this week. There's a reason why it's only two. So I have this. I don't know if the glare.
Ooh,
nice.
The
Nice.
Princess Leia Star Wars 40th Anniversary 6-inch, and I also have the Darth Vader. Darth Vader Star Wars or Empire Strikes Back 6-inch.
Nice.
So yeah, just a quick rant on that. These are 2 out of 6 6-inch figures that I ordered from Amazon. The other 4 came beat to hell. One of them, I had a Darth Vader Star Wars 40th that the bubble was almost completely falling off of it. So lesson learned for the Jedi this week is ordering collectibles from Amazon, especially anything fragile or might get bent, probably not the best advice.
It's a gamble.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're talking batting average. It's not that bad. If you go 2 for 6 on the day, that's a good day.
Yeah, okay.
Batting 30.
Well,
That's usually lower than I say Amazon. Usually I'm at like, if you're 40% on Amazon, like 45-ish, that's usually where you're hitting around. So you're a little bit lower than that.
People at the UPS store, when I was in there twice a day returning things, they were like, "Oh, you keep coming back." I'm like, "Yeah." Amazon Prime days is when they get rid of all their broken crap. So here it is.
Yeah.
Here's some more of it.
So no fights with the garage floor this week, and it didn't.
No.
Okay.
No, I can't classify this as a Jedi junk equation because it wasn't my fault.
It is though. Like, hey, listen. As much as I don't buy a lot off of Amazon because I know how it goes. Like, do know it's a gamble. If you like to gamble, like all these guys that go out there like to gamble with books or gamble with cars or so buying off Amazon, man. That's all you have to do. Just throw it in there.
Well, you can return it. It's easy. It's a safe bet, really. Because if it comes messed up, you can return it.
Yeah, if you're collecting, they're going to do what they can to cut costs with the thinner and thinner cardboard.
Well, you know what I don't understand is, and I'll wrap it up with this because other people need to show off their stuff, but I don't know if there's a shortage of wrapping supplies out there. Maybe that's a trickle down from COVID or whatever. But I mean, used to, if you order a brick from Amazon, that thing's going to come triple wrapped in freaking bubble wrap with styrofoam bubbles. And now suddenly these figures are coming just loose in a box, not a lick of freaking padding in there, bouncing around like crazy. I don't understand it, but hey, It is what it is.
Yep.
Well, I'd imagine that there's not a lot of warehouse employees that are on the collectible market. You know what I mean? Like they're not out there.
They just think it's a
They're just tossing it in the box. They're not big collectors.
I think it's 2 different things. I think it's 2 different things too. If you're getting warehouse shipments compared to like private seller shippings too.
Well, that's true. As well.
Yeah,
that's a little bit different. All right. Well, who's up next? What do we got?
I can go.
Go ahead.
So continuing pickups for Dark Horse comic variants. We got little ash can for
oh, nice.
Tales of the Jedi, Dark Lord of the Sith. So
good find.
I can't remember if I showed this one off last week, but it came in the mail like right before we did the show last week. But so I got the Crimson Empire 3.
Cool.
Yeah, the Glacy variant.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Golsey or Glacy? I'm not sure.
You're asking the wrong people, dude.
JJ show-offs always look so shiny and
he's out here. Oh, this is probably the Panini. Yeah.
Speaking of shiny,
Wow.
So Panini Darth Vader Matina variant, which I could probably pull it out of here and not fingerprint it up, maybe. But
no.
Yeah, no. Hey, I like that. Do it. I like when he's got the back. It's a forward, anyways.
But yeah, so it's Brazilian. I think I'm 99% sure it's Brazilian.
Oh, he just
there's the fingerprints.
Yeah.
Back is the Scalera Emperor variant. So
we're down to a 9.6.
Wasn't that the
and dropping 9.4?
Wasn't that the
those clear boards?
I know, right?
Yeah.
What's next?
I picked those up, and the last one is a little Eddie Granoff. This one was with the Rebels background was a Emerald City Comic Con variant from when Leia #1 came out. So
you don't see that a lot.
No.
Wasn't it Granoff on the Emperor on the back?
No, I think that was Scalera.
Sure?
The Emperor.
Fair enough.
I could be wrong, but
no, I could be wrong too. Whatever, man. You get lost once you start looking at all those foreigns, and then just whatever.
Never wanted to be R2 more in my life.
There's actually a really cool sketch version of this too that came out from somewhere. I don't know where, but there's this nice sketch version.
Pete, what do you got? Anything good?
I just grabbed a couple of quick little cheap books. That's it. Oh, I was in a shop. They had a $5 variant box, and as I was flipping through it, and a lot of the same stuff, but for whatever reason, that day they had these Force Awakens. I think like 1 in 15. I'm not sure which one is which, and 1 in 25. That was the Noto, I think, and then the photo like poster.
Was it the photo, the 1 in 15, and was it up? The photo one sucks, so that's probably the 1 in 25, and the 15 is probably the
Yeah. I'm looking at the barcodes and the numbers. I think that's probably the way it went.
The way it went.
I gotta say, I like Noto's Star Wars covers. There's some.
I do too. Noto's not bad. I will say this: I wasn't going to show pickups, but then everybody said, "Did anybody get one of these?" So I will show you. This is the exclusive, the final order cutoff. Wasn't this the final order cutoff for this week?
Yep. FOC.
Go ahead,
Yep.
go find that because I probably should have pulled out the other one. The actual PX one is the Mandalorian holding the baby, and there's a virgin cover of that too. All right, anybody? Nope, good. We're good with pickups. Cool. So that's that. Should I even have said that? What insider is this? I don't even know.
203.
Yep.
Okay, there we go. There you go. Everybody's on top of it more than me. I can't wait to get back up. All right, here we go. Let's go through what we were about to do, and we'll do weekly recap and see if Dr. Aphra, as it was hinted to by Jedi Johnson, is a book that I'm going to keep reading, or if it's a book that we're going to throw into the trash. I think I'm still 50-50 on it. And then the High Republic. Are we finally turning the corner on this book for the love of everything that's good? All right. Great cover, though. Here we go. We'll start off with the High Republic. I am surprised with how cheap. I don't know what your guys' opinion on it is, but how cheap Marvel is with their printing and their coloring. How well the Pride books have come out this month.
Yeah. I think it's the best cover right here on this book.
Absolutely. Yep.
I think actually, I think it was maybe Solo or somebody that said that this was the one they were looking for too. I think it was Solo, and it actually did come out good. This is the one I probably ordered the least, and you probably should order it the least because it's not the best of the books out of them. But anyways, and then the I'm not going to give my opinion on the variant because apparently flippers and fans of her get really mad when you say anything negative about Momoka. So, but you know where you can put that one.
Yep.
Yeah, there's no tall grass. That's a positive, though.
I don't see anything wrong with the cover. I just don't know if it has a lot to do with the story.
Yeah.
I don't know what the goal is about or like the stars. It's okay. I mean, it's okay. It seems like fairy tale art. It's her style. That's fine. But like, why is she doing Star Wars books?
Sandman cover.
Yeah. It does have a Sandman vibe.
Like Dreams or something.
Whatever, man. I mean, hey.
Why is she sitting on a pot of gold?
I don't know. I'm trying to move on past this cover.
You can't help it.
We're gonna get all the hate mail from all the
maybe there's a rainbow we can't see.
Yeah, I never.
It's on the cover next to it.
Yeah,
it is.
The pot of gold references.
No, there's also gold in the background too. It's like falling into the pot of gold. Like that's and by the way, that's actually her tunic. So she's sitting on her tunic, which is full of gold.
What?
So that's the wraparound. If you look,
I think it's
okay. We're done.
We're done. Foreshadowing.
It's crazy. They're always after me, Lucky Charms.
No, like if you look, it's like the wraparound. It's
magically delicious.
It's the wraparound piece of her dress is what she's sitting on. That's got the gold in it somehow. Jedi, what were you going to say? Hopefully,
I'm not a psychic, but I think it's foreshadowing of something to come, and we'll just leave it at that. I don't.
Okay.
That's very.
We'll
leave it at that, so I can't be wrong. She's
gonna poop out gold and wipe it with her dress. That's what we're saying. Moving on. So, you know what? There is some casual Star Wars fans that I was talking to about this book because I was like, hopefully it's going. And the one thing they said was it's good to see the Hutts in there, which I think is great because I do think we're going to see more and more Hutts in like the Book of Fett and stuff like that. And the Rancor part was a little bit interesting with them riding it. I don't know why one of the twins is riding one and the other's got a vehicle and they just didn't have two vehicles. I think people just like to draw Rancors, which is fine. It was good.
Yeah. You got the MODOK chair on the Hutt. That's kind of cool.
That is. The MODOK chair's there. Unfortunately, we're still fighting the Dangier, which is just a waste of everything that's good. I mean, we talked about this character early on I think the consensus of the show, even though other people out there were like, "Oh, it's great, it's a weed monster," or whatever they were saying about it, and how cool, and make sure, and we're like, "Yeah, this is not going to go well," and it hasn't been going well. So I think this is finally, hopefully, coming to an end, even though it's the beginning of a new arc. You do see a little bit back and forth, and that they're fighting together, and a couple different comments that might actually have stuff that happens down the road where the Hutts and the Jedi get together. We get a little back and forth. We get this right here, which now, when we see Gale, I'm not sure, like, this is a hologram now. Now they've shown him in the background. So this would be his second cameo appearance, I guess. I don't think you'd call that first full. Would anybody call the hologram of him a first full?
Yeah.
Or first appearance?
I don't like holograms as first appearances, and that's just
yeah. So that's probably still a cameo.
It's better than on a TV in the background. So
yeah.
I mean,
Well, he was
so Darkside.
He was in a crowd of Jedis once too on a stage. So with not being identified. So I think next one's going to be the book for him, which is good because there's a lot of stuff going to happen in that book. This was interesting. What the heck? Okay, so
drunken swamp lizard monster.
Yeah, so
we're
still dealing with Skier, even though he's not like directly possessed. His mind's kind of possessed, I guess, by the Drangir because he's like interchanged with him.
He kind of has like a split personality at this point, doesn't he?
Yeah, and then Kiwi. Go ahead.
I'm with Solo on this one. It's bad enough when your doctors are lizard, but when your lizard is high. And just kind of like, hey,
and a sock puppet.
Just a guy.
It reminded me of a Jim Henson sock puppet. It did. Yep. So Kiwi is trying to save him again, but he's in a force field now with the sock puppet lizard doctor.
It's a Muppet.
That's
it's
puppet Muppet.
It's a space slug out of an asteroid, but shrunk down.
And then somehow needs a space helmet, even though nobody else.
That's not closed. This is half a helmet, just to protect
I
those
will also
exposed
say,
eyeballs from things dropping.
Since we're just destroying this book, we might as well. When did Marvel become DC and stop drawing faces halfway through panels? I purposely put these two up here because if you look at the left side, like, oh, okay, she's starting to lose the definition around her eyes and her mouth. Then the next panel, her face is just like a half an eyeball and who knows what's going on. And it's not like they're focusing on anything in particular. Then they just get rid of it at the bottom. I mean, that's like the link down there. And then she comes back looking different. The notes, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. So they know they should cut off like all the things, but then all of a sudden she's getting this even looks misplaced. It looks like on the top she's off of the panel where she's not on the Rancor, then she's bottom. It was a mess of a book this week, unfortunately.
Yeah. Which is a shame because we haven't seen her in action very much yet. I mean, we have in the books, the novels, but not the comic. Absolutely.
How about Chris? That is. So then we get back to Kiwi, and then all of a sudden she like purposely sniffs the Drangir. They really need to get out of it. Then they take her inside. So all this purple, if you remember, there was that third print for like number 2 or something where she was in the purple. They finally started using that in here where she's in like this dream sequence thing. What's that fourth print? Thank you.
It's the fourth print of number 1 because I got one over here.
Did it remind anybody else of that?
This one.
That movie where they have to shrink the people down and go inside and like
fix
the gap. Yeah.
So I got a question.
Inner space.
Go ahead. Inner space. Thank you.
So when she lists the Dangray or whatever Drangar,
nobody gives a crap.
Yeah. when she lets them take over her mind, she goes to this place. I want to know where the Rancor went when this thing took over the Rancor. I mean, did it like go to some fantasy where it's eating Luke or something? I mean, what happened?
He went into the afterworld where there's a bunch of Lokis and King the Conqueror running it. I think this is like a forced thing in here. It was, I don't know. But then she gets to see the planet of the main guy. She does the eyes trip out thing, the main Drangir like head lead. So it is kind of like, I guess there is a lead. So if they could take the lead out, then they can take everybody out. They split. It's a mess of a story. Sorry. It just
like Ender's Game then. It's the hive mind.
Yeah, it is. Then she kind of scratched something on there, so she's got the name, so she knows where the planet they're located at. So eventually they're going to get everybody, and they're going to go to that planet, which I think hopefully we get to see. Well, supposedly from the rumors, and we'll talk about it a little bit later, but we might be able to see some Sith finally. Thank God. this series is the Adventures has far surpassed this series, but I think this has the potential now because of the rumors that are coming out, and we'll get into them a little bit later, that it might be able to make a little bit of a rebound. It's not a complete. I don't know what your guys' opinion is on this book, but you can see that there's still a little hope left.
I feel like they got lost with this book. Like, I feel like it started off okay. They were laying the groundwork, which you got to do because it's a whole new era of Star Wars, and you got a exposition. And then they just kind of like they started to get into the action, and then it's almost like they lost their place and didn't know what to do. They're just like, well, let's write something.
Do you think it's because we've read or listened to the novels, and then like we kind of know where the stuff was going? Yeah, that we kind of given it a little bit of faith and a little bit extra. I just think, I mean, for the common reader. Go ahead, Jed.
I was going to say the guy that writes this comic is one of the guys or novelists that writes the novel.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, but the pacing's totally different than what you have to do with a novel and a comic, and I just don't think they have everything lined up maybe to how they kind of wanted it.
Yeah, and this is all wave one stuff for the most part. So, when they create concepts from this stuff, they do it months ahead before even the novels come out. So they're trying to tie everything together, even though they don't really know how it ties together because nothing's out yet.
But they just even got lazy on the art too, which is just like, I mean, I think it feels like they kind of it feels exactly like how we were doing it. All of a sudden they had all the novels come out and everything else, and they just they're like, look, this Drangir just it's not going to work out. You know what I mean? It's done. It's not going to work out. We're just not going to get it. So let's start to move on, and let's end this pretty quick. And I should have brought up the chalkboards, but there is some stuff on the chalkboards where we did know that one of the big circle thing was Sith 1. I mean, like coming back with a Sith Empire type theme in the High Republic. I should have shown that. I was holding on to it forever and then forgot to reveal that stuff. But so hopefully that's what we're going to start to see in the next one. We can just hope and pray for that.
Well, the novels are so good. The comic book, I think when they put it out, it just seems like a real bad set of cliff notes on a great novel, and so they were trying to push it so fast they dropped a lot of the detail and information that made the novel so good, but and I don't think they had it set up quite right for the Drangir. I think they could have done something great with the Drangir, but the writer didn't know how to perpetuate that monster. So if we do get the Sith, I mean, that'd be awesome because if it leads into that story, I mean,
if you think about it,
they're coming, Jon Snow.
And we'll talk about it a little bit later too. But you got Scott who wrote Dooku, the Lost Jedi, and but he also wrote this stuff too. Hey, look, he wrote the comic, and as you say, but I think the Marvel series would have played out better if they did, and everybody's going to hate this because they're like not another event, but if they did a bunch of one shots. Kind of like how they did with when they did the Air Republic, like the Age of Republic, Age of Resistance stuff. Instead of trying to make an ongoing title, if they just would have done some offshoots where you saw the Hutt clan, where you saw some of the Jedi, and you pieced all those kind of like they did with the novels, pieced them all together and put them and done like a couple of little minis. You didn't have to do much and sprinkle in those one shots, and then you're done and you got everybody caught back up.
Yeah.
But I think, I don't know. I think everybody is a lot of conversations I have with people, fans of the show, and just people in general, fans of our show and people in general, is like everyone wants to see Sith, and I can't blame them for that, and I do too. So I think we're ready to go, and hopefully we get it. I know there's a lot of excitement because of some of the news that came out. Either way, Dr. Aphra is up next. Another Pride cover where the color was good, but yes, she's Sanson does. I mean, I don't.
It's a good cover. It just doesn't fit.
Yep. So we are
at least she's in the book.
She is, yes.
That's true.
As opposed to like when they did Eureka Quill and other ones that weren't even there. So.
Yeah, weren't even there. So they're going up to go check out. They're going up to this little out in the Outer Rim to the Volcobra to go find this guy. Turns out he's dead. So is the whole ship. The whole ship is entirely dead, but he's got a card in his hand. This is pretty much the way that they're going to get them tied into an invitation to the Crimson Dawn auction, which that's where all these characters are going for the bounty hunter or the bounty hunter books. We got to get everybody into that auction. So they're going towards Crimson, and who shows up? Dirge. Now, sweet, he shows up. he almost shoots them. Then he's mad that the guy's dead. And did you kill him because he's supposed to be alive? And they're like, no, you're a notorious bounty hunter and you're hard to kill. Or that's what he says anyways. Then all these little creepy characters come out. Now, this is where the preview started. I was like, I swear, if they kill him with all these creepy characters, end up sucking his blood, I'm done with this series. There is some real cool stuff that happened in here. Oh, there he is. He's talking right there on the right side about, oh, he's dead and blah, 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 blah. He's dead before we showed up. Those are backwards. Look at the gun. I thought this was kind of cool. How they did the action in this for him. Like, you know, he's still slamming where he's got the little mace balls that he slams into there. The gun flips out and then he goes complete action killer, like boom. Like, I thought this was actually done really well.
Yeah.
Because they skip over some of this action in this book.
And the art and some of the Afro books leading up to this have been a little rough. So this was a refreshing change.
Thank you.
Like a Nerf gun.
Thank you for putting that better than I did, JJ. I appreciate it. That's exactly what I was talking about. But then he gets captured, and then this little silliness, which is kind of funny because it's a little bit of throwback to the cartoon, but where they're all over his armor. I don't know. They end up putting him in a tunnel, and they shoot him out, and they said like he's going to explode from the inside. But they come back to the line. He's notoriously hard to kill. So technically, we don't know if he's dead yet or not. Hopefully, they didn't kill him off.
Not dead.
He's alive.
Aliens. They just did the end of Aliens. They shot him off into space. And
the reason they put him in that, well, I guess I can't remember how they got all those slimy things to follow him. I can't remember, but the slimy things are the things that explode.
Yes,
they're the ones that explode with atmospheric changes, not dirge.
Well, no, but they said creature. Everything. They were referring to everything. Then he says we had a deal. So, I mean, I hope he comes back, but as we know from the previews, it doesn't look like he's coming back for the next book or maybe even the book after that. So maybe in 4 books, we might see him. If you're following that terrible Star Wars series where they're ending up like finishing off storylines that happened a dozen books ago, like maybe that's what they're going to do here. I hope they don't because that kind of sucks.
Don't forget, it's a War of the Bounty Hunters tie-in still, so...
Yeah. So we have to get through that. I mean, there's another one of that. Yeah. So hopefully it comes back. So then they show the invitation, and everybody who's got the invitation, more people who've got the invitation, because everybody and their cousin has an invitation to go to this auction for Han Solo. And that's the end of it. So
where's Hondo's invitation?
I was going to say, where's
every
Hondo?
auction? He's like every auction in Star Wars books.
Mine must have got lost in the mail, I guess.
So we will continue. I mean, look, if we're going to continue to review the Star Wars main title, we're definitely continuing to review this one. This book was actually really good. It was surprising. I'm glad I said I would stop reading it and stop buying it if it sucked.
Your threat worked.
Yeah, it worked. They heard me. All right.
Clearly listened.
Just real quickly, we just want to bring this book up again. Santika, she will be showing up on this cover B for Star Wars Adventures. I know if you guys looked right after we mentioned it, it had sold out. And that was on the FOC. But for late order, they actually did earlier this week. Now, remember, we are shooting on a Saturday, even though you're seeing this on a Sunday. They had earlier this week, they had about 100 copies still available. I don't know what's at this point, but I assume call your LCS real quickly if you want that B cover in her first appearance on the cover. Because
just so everybody
knows.
Move
on. Which doctor would you rather have? Sock puppet lizard doctor or cool guy bat doctor?
I want
cool
the
guy bat doctor.
Gremlin doctor.
Gremlin. Yep,
I don't know. One of them's got bacteria and the other one's got rabies. I don't know.
Yeah, but the other one's got a guy's hand up his butt. So that's the doctor I'm not going with.
How does the sock puppet doctor do surgery anyways? Like, that comes about. Like, how does that work?
Well, the model I can't get wet.
That's true.
I think I'm going to go with BT1.
BT1, yeah.
Okay. Also, next week's books, don't forget, we've got Death Sticks, and please, it's the female assassin Death Sticks, not the guy who sells Death Sticks. They're not even related. One's like related to Night Sister. This one, the other one isn't. But they also have got these wanted covers that are coming up, so hopefully they'll look pretty dope. I don't know.
I do.
But
one
she
has
will.
Antennas and another's a ninja.
But if you believe that a full page announcing who you are and a background page where you're in it isn't a first appearance, then you'll call this as a first appearance. You get her on the cover either way. There you go.
Why doesn't Valance ever get his face done
right?
Like surely you could do more plastic surgery or something in
Star
Wars World to cover that up instead of going
look
like the tournament.
That's the wanted variant.
Poster.
We'll see how it turns out.
I
Okay.
think the headshot or whatever you want to call it variant.
Speaking of FOC, is still available for $7 the last I looked. There is going to be a action figure cover, which there's a lot of good feedback on that one. There's going to be the A cover, which is the way right, and arguably the worst 1 in 25 we've seen so far in the series. However, there seems to be a lot of importance in this book because as the Mike Mayow came out with this.
Wait. You talking about the one in the middle?
That's 1 in 25, yeah.
Man, those are some beautiful colors, though, right? I mean,
colors are nice, but like look at her face and everything.
What is going on there?
Yeah, when your favorite part of the cover is the background sky.
Are those eyes behind her? Let's really break this down like we did the other one.
It's the Drangier.
Let's really dive
We're gonna
into
do the
this
play-by-play.
thing.
I just lost my audio. We're gonna do the play-by-play on this. Is that serious?
Yeah,
I can only. I'm hoping that it looks better.
So that's the done. That's the done of the play-by-play on that one. So, but Mike Mayow also has a cover. So that was late because they didn't actually have these covers available. They didn't have they just got it this week. But Mike came up with this, showed us this figure, which is going to be a new Darth that JJ will be getting into, which is nice. We're finally getting a new Darth, and he says that this Darth is showing up in this book. Now, hopefully, he didn't just tease it on the cover, and we're not actually getting it inside the book. I hope.
General.
Yep. According to what he said on his Instagram post, it's also the first appearance.
He said it's in the book, in his Instagram post. So if not, then make sure you go to his Instagram and you guys can talk to him what a true first. He really probably would like that. He'd appreciate hearing from the fans of what a true first and real first and first cover first.
So this is not a previous character? We haven't seen this character before?
Well, we'll get into it.
It looks a lot like it. Yeah. It looks a lot like Sesker, but we'll get into it here.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought it was Sesker.
That's what everybody
thought it was too. Yeah.
You mean
But it turns out it's not.
Skier. Yeah. Skier, yeah. Sesker.
All right. So that is the recap for this week. That is the recap for this week. And after that, we have It's a Trap, where we'll talk more about Darth Krall. I didn't listen to audio. I only read the book, so I don't know how you pronounce his name.
Krall.
Is it Krall?
Krall.
Okay, that's what you're Darth Krall, like a baby crawls. This is what we're going with. Okay.
Yeah,
that's how they pronounce it.
An awesome movie from the 80s. With
awesome. All right, Jedi, here we go. You and Darth Krall.
You know, like Pauly Shore in Son-in-Law.
Krall, not Krall. Not Krall. It's Krall.
C-R-A-W-L.
All right. JJ, let's go.
So enter the Lost 20, Darth Krall. So now I'm going to say this up front. This is like the only image we have of Darth Krall is that Mike May covered the word from. So you're going to see this image maybe a couple times in this presentation here. But that is Darth Krall that we know of. So flip to the next slide for me. All right, so we're going over the Lost 20. I apologize for the small typeface here, but we'll run over it. So pretty much the Lost 20, you've heard Marco and me and other people mention it probably here and there. But basically what they are is they're 20 Jedi Masters that have left the Order. And the important note is they all left for the similar or same reason, which was they got disillusioned with the way the Jedi Order worked and no longer wanted to be a part of it. They weren't like forced out or mind controlled out. They basically voluntarily resigned because they disagreed with what the Jedi were doing. Some of them turn dark. Some of them don't turn dark. The important thing to remember is that I don't know why they put it in the Jedi Archive Library, but there are all 20 of their busts of their head are in the Jedi Library. And if anybody zooms in on one of the panels there's one that looks an awful like Kiwi, who's also mentioned as one of the Lost 20 going forward, as Master Trennis. Yep.
On the right.
Bust on the right.
They've was it in was it Dooku Lost, where they talk about, they name at least 3 of them that have been lost already.
Yep.
So
it came about first, and actually a deleted scene from Attack of the Clones, where they're talking about why Dooku left, and then they're showing his bust. That's what that image is there. But go ahead and flip to the next slide for me. Going over the Lost 20, it pretty much started back around 1000 BBY, which would be even before the High Republic era. But and then it goes to the last person, or the first person to leave was what was his name? Master
Rune.
Well, he becomes Darth Rune.
Fetus.
Fetus or something. Master Fetus was his Jedi name. And then he becomes Darth Rune. He's the first to leave around that time. And then the last one to leave that we know of is Dooku, obviously, who was Darth Tyrannus. We all know from the prequel movies, obviously. So you got going forward, it was kind of also weird because there's at least in Legends, there was a story where Anakin Skywalker considered himself to be the 21st member of the Lost. Even though I don't know that you would necessarily consider that because you pretty much destroyed the Jedi Order. I don't know how you could say you're 21, but that was his feelings anyways, especially as dressing a former Jedi Master. He called himself the 21st. But all in all, you have basically 20 people that left. 12 of them left before like the High Republic era would have started, and a few left during the High Republic era. And then I think you ended up with 20 by the time Dooku left.
Yep. Dooku was the 20th.
It'd be interesting if they threw a clip in the Obi-Wan series where Anakin was, talking to Obi-Wan in like a memory or something, or a duel and referred to himself as the 21st.
21st.
Yeah.
You never know.
Never know.
That'd be neat.
Interesting.
Yep.
Go ahead.
So next up, we got Darth Krall, who Darth Krall was a character known as Radaki, a Jedi, I should say, known as Radaki. And he came about in Dooku Jedi Lost, which was an audiobook later released as a normal book by Kevin Scott, who also writes the High Republic books. Or one of the High Republic books, I should say, in comic.
The Marvel one.
But basically, in that book, they detail, like Marco said, 3 characters that left around the High Republic era, which Dooku Jedi Lost tells the story of Dooku's history with the Jedi. Basically his origin story, I guess you could say. And during that time, Krall is mentioned as one of the, I guess, first Jedi during kind of Yoda's era that left. And Yoda even mentions him as having become a powerful Sith Lord in the present tense, mind you. So he said he has become a powerful Sith Lord or something along those lines. And then by the end of that book, obviously, we all know what happened to Dooku, so I'm not going to read the detail in that. But Darth Krall is important because he's the first character we're seeing from this Lost
Did you
story.
say, I'm sorry, did you say present tense? It was past. He referred to him as past tense. He said he was a blah, blah, blah.
He said it in Yoda terms, but he says Radaki was a powerful Sith Lord he became. So yeah, you're right. I guess it wasn't past tense.
Past.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. Well, no, I'm just
Anyways,
my bad. Go ahead. Sorry.
Good point.
He's not around during. I'm just saying he's not around during the. He's not going to be like he's not around during.
Well, he's around during the High Republic.
Yeah, but not during ABI. Yes, yeah. He is.
He doesn't go all the way through Dooku's era. He's not that old or anything.
That's what
we don't know what happens to him, but he does participate in a battle at some point because they talk about how he was the one that won the battle of. I think Sif Odias is talking to Dooku about it, and he wins the battle of the Wasted Space or something like that, which could also be another High Republic reference. I don't know if about the hyperspace lanes and all that stuff. But, anyways,
wasted years.
Yeah, wasted years. Sorry. So you got also too. By the way, that one picture there, Krall is in the top right. The one picture is actually Darth Ruin, which I used it because I just wanted to see everybody compare bust to what he looked like as a Sith Lord there. But.
That's cool.
Yep.
So the Sifo Dyas thing said that is talking about the Nightmare Conjunction, which might be in the when you guys saw the recap where you saw her in the purple. Anyways, go ahead. So what's the
and important to note too that Dooku Jedi Lost takes place. Even Dooku's life takes place after the High Republic era, or around the end of it. But so our central question is whether or not the Lost 20 and characters like Darth Krall are here to stay. So you got. On Never Tell Me Odds, you land on the side of
Darth Killer Croc.
They're here to stay for a while. You're definitely going to see them in comics. It's not a one-off thing. You might see them in movies, TV shows, and then obviously the It's a Trap is Darth Killer Croc, aka Darth Krall. You'll never see him again. He may be in this comic, but he ain't going to be anything significant.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff. Who'd like to go first?
Sure, I'll jump in there.
Okay, go ahead.
I think it's a never tell me the odds. I think eventually I feel kind of like they kind of have to touch on or they're building towards the Lost 20 and being able to tap into that storyline. They can play it out between quite a few different things and open the possibility of it. So I think it's really a never tell me the odds, and this is a great way to kind of usher it in so that we have a chance, or they have a chance to write more about it, or toss that little spice, on the omelet in there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if you've listened to us long enough, you know where my opinion is this, because I bring up the Lost 20 all the time when I talk about the High Republic. And the reason why I do is because this is actually the third character we know for sure is part of the Lost 20. You got Aurel, you've got Kivis, and you've got him. All three are going to be in the Lost 20. There's an option of 2 to 3 more characters that they've either introduced through the novels or in the comic world. Well, one they're going to do next week too, that have the potential. So we might get up to 6 of the Lost 20. There's a show called Acolytes coming up. There's a lot of stuff that's pointing to this Lost 20 area. I know a lot of us want stuff like the Planet of Sith, or go back and do the Jedi Sith Wars. But if you can give us the Lost 20, and all of them won't be, like when I talk about the 3 that are for sure going to, Krall, you've got Aurel, and you've got Kivis, we know Aurel's probably just going to be a wanderer for the rest of her life. She's going to be one of the Lost 20. She was a master, but she's leaving the Order. She is, apparently, from what it sounds like and from what they've told us already. Mm-hmm. But you're going to have, we know that Kivis is, because Yoda said the same thing in some backwards language about that she left, and losing her was a big one. We couldn't tell if she turned dark or not. But then you also got Krall. So, like, they might just do more. I think they have to, because that's intriguing stuff. Is there any Star Wars fan that doesn't want to see Jedi that left the Order? Ahsoka Tano, when she left the Order, people love her. I mean, people can say what they want now, but that storyline where, and everybody will say like, yeah, it turned the corner after season 1. That's not true. When Tana finally, when they had her getting set up at the end, the Sky Guy thing, nobody mentioned it anymore. And when she was turning, it intrigued people so much, where she was like, hey, you know what? I'm not going to come back to the Jedi Order. I'm going to do my thing. And I think that added a lot into the flavor of her. And I think they know, because they follow all these things, that's a good point. So I think we're going to see, never tell me the odds. I think they're going to give us a story of the Lost 20. And I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't just do that as an ongoing, like, Disney Plus series. That's my opinion.
Yeah, they could give you minis, like a season talking about this character, and they focus on somebody else. They could jump around and expand the universe. Yeah.
Or do it in groups of eras, like the High Republic era of the Lost 20. You could do the Old Republic era of the Lost 20, because you could do, and you could push it back. I mean, it's not going to be that long, right? I mean, I know it seems like a lot, but if you think like you're going to go down to like 200 BBY from what, 199 BBY, and we know that 6 of them turn between the years of 400. We know 3 for sure leave the Order between 400 and 200. So then if you do one just during other spans, you can get there pretty quickly. And then you got Dooku after that. So for sure he's gone. And I think if they consider, I don't think they considered Sifo. So like, I think you would have heard between the High Republic and Dooku, like you would have heard of more. So I think we're going to get 6 there. 20 is not a lot, but I mean, it's really only.
And I did get a question from somebody a while ago too about like, would Ahsoka or something, but important to remember they're Jedi Masters that left. So there are other people that have left the Jedi Order, but these 20 were only classified because they were Jedi Masters.
Masters, gotcha.
Yep.
Well, I'm also on the never tell me the odds angle too. I think all of what you guys said definitely fits, and just going back to the whole the writer wrote about them already, it makes sense that the current writer may mine from work that he's already worked on, the characters he likes and concepts that he likes. So I think we might get a little bit more into comics, and hopefully on Disney Plus or whatever movies they got going. We still don't know all the movies that we got coming. There's a whole trilogy of unknown coming.
Well, I mean, you got to think too, like when I talk about that chalkboard, the chalkboard for the High Republic came out while they were just doing the plan of it. They had mentioned they're going to do something called the Luminaris or whatever. But that stuff, that was like 4 years before the first comic even came out, like the first book or anything. So like, think about that. Like right now, those shows, a lot of them, there's just people doing chalkboard stuff, like throwing out, like just brainstorming. Jedi, what do you have on this?
I'm going to say never tell me the odds as well. I know I normally go against the grain on this, but I think that I think we're going to see these Lost 20. I don't know. They're going to come up outside of the comic books and the books. I just see it. I think Disney will eventually use that material. I think they will.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys have already. I won't rehash what all of you guys have said.
Yeah.
I just agree. I agree with what you said.
I fall the same way. I'm gonna never tell me the odds, and for a lot of reasons everybody already stated. The only thing is, I hope the Darth Krall thing is not like a huge tease, like some sort of. Because the thing that worries me is like in issue 6, we had kind of that dream sequence deal where she had her mind. I just hope it's not something like she like imagines Darth Krall and they get into like an imaginary fight or something. Like,
oh, you're talking about 5-2 or the skier thing, yeah.
Yeah, I hope
really
he
wanna see that
actually
one.
shows up.
I would love to see that one that JJ didn't focus on, but he put that picture down there because to me that guy looks like the Jeepers Creepers monster
does.
from the movie. I would love to see that. That would be awesome.
Do you remember this? They've shown Sith before in, I think it was 4 or something, when they were talking about, or no, was it in the Adventures? It was in one of the 2 when they were talking about the spaceship where they were all on the not the Starlight Beacon, but the other one where the Dranger were trapped and undone. So we know that it's coming. And the only reason I don't think this is like a fake is like because Kiwi's going to have to turn, and they're about to introduce one of the characters that leaves the Order, that we know for sure leaves the Order. So if you're going to do that, you might as well set it up with a Sith to feel them in. Plus, I think they're really hurting with the Dangir. Like that thing is, I mean, I hate to say we called it because you never wish bad luck on it, but for all those people that were like high on that character, one way or another, I mean,
it's a little bit.
It makes me wonder how long they've been planning this, because ever since I've been I knew about it, not fully detailed as much information as I have now. But as soon as I saw Attack of the Clowns, when Dooku's sitting there explaining to Obi-Wan all of it and how he turned, and the 20, and then they're talking about it in the library and showing the busts, it makes me wonder just how long they've been planning to give this section, this story of the 20. And I think that they probably had an idea, just didn't know how to bring it forth and pan it out.
No, it's when they were having that meeting at Skywalker Ranch, it says it on the whiteboard. It says Lost Jedi. It's one of the words that says it.
Yeah, so, but it's been how long do you think that the idea? To me, it seems like they came up with the idea of it back in since episode 2, and they've just been playing up to it ever since.
There were legend references too when before they split it or whatever, and there were references then. They never called them the Lost 20 like they didn't necessarily here, but they referred to these masters that have left the Order.
I think a lot of stuff. I think a lot of this gets lost because of people's mindsets. And I think we were talking pre-show about some of the stuff too that happens where people want headlines and stuff. But like, when everybody's like, it's all Disney, they're destroying Star Wars, they're getting rid of all the legacy things. No, the plan was always to slow roll it back in. And this is one thing where it's like cutscenes, or like when the Bad Batch was cut. The Ahsoka Tano stuff, which even before Dave supposedly took over and threw Kathleen Kennedy to the ground while giving her elbow drops from Lucas from the sky, like there was a book that already came out called Ahsoka, which was the cutscenes from Clone Wars that never got produced. That was already reintroduced to canon. That's years. It was at 2016 when Disney first took over. So they have been slowly bringing this stuff back. I don't think people realize it. So I think what happened was like they went there and they've got all this stuff that's like, hey, these are cutscenes, because this was a cutscene that came out of Attack of the Clones. And they're like, hey, man, this is a really cool idea. It was a great concept. We've never been able to use it. Let's like bring it back and fold it in, because this is what people like. And they're right. People like the Sith. They like these stories of turning to the dark side. They like all that type of stuff. And to get away from the Skywalker saga, which, there's a lot of people who've come up lately and said, man, I thought this was going to work out, but I really do wish they get a little bit away from the Skywalker saga and give us something new and something different and more Sith, or a different line for the Sith, or this, that, because they're reading more now of the old stuff too. I think when you see that, these artists and these writers, whatever, it's always part of the plan is to reincorporate these storylines that got cut short or never got produced, and to do it. You see, like I said, once again, you saw it with Ahsoka, you saw it with what they did with Thrawn. You're seeing it with Thrawn. You saw it now with the Lost 20, which was something that was brought up. A couple other elements. I have no doubt that we're going to see Planet of the Sith at one point. Like that type of stuff is eventually going to go. And it seems like they keep doing it. I think the narrative of like they destroyed this and there's nobody left and Lucas was so great. Well, Han shot first, man. You know what I mean? So like everybody's always had different problems with stuff, but I think some of this stuff right now is great because they're bringing it back and they've always planned on doing it because nobody goes like, oh, you know what? The Drangir are failing today because comic book sales slowed down. Let's switch gears real quickly. You can't switch a behemoth that fast. You know what I mean? Like it's like a charging elephant, dude. It doesn't turn on a dime, man. So this has definitely been planned out for a while. And we'll see. Up next we have we all are all in on that.
Cards.
They were good cards. Yep, we got cards. Up next. Jedi.
Okay, so JJ let us know that I think there was a Beckett article that released or informed about Topps release information about their 2021 Star Wars Masterwork trading card. The box you see on your screen is not the product. Just go to the next one. We'll just run through them real quick. So this is an example of the base card. Looks pretty good. I haven't collected cards in a couple of, probably about 5 or 6 years, and that was football cards. I've never really collected Star Wars cards, especially modern Star Wars cards. But looking at these and kind of doing a parallel comparison to what I remember football cards being like, it's pretty similar. I mean, I know we have some of our viewers that do collect Star Wars cards. VK on Comics, I know does, and I'm sure we have others. These, to me, they look like nice cards. I'd love to get some of the viewers' comments on what they think about it. But this is go ahead, JJ.
This is like their again, I don't collect cards that much either, really, but I know Masterworks is kind of like their top tier as far as
it's their premium product.
For Star Wars at least. So
so there's 100 cards, which is good. It's a nice, easy set to build if you're going for the base set. And
that's depending on how many cards are per pack. They could sell you 4 cards per pack, and
that's true. I mean, I think that you could, if you're going to do a box bust, you're probably not going to get a set out of a box. That's true. But I think either on the secondary market or whatever, a lot of these cards will be easy to come by, and you won't have to build like a 400 card set.
Do we know a price point on this at all?
I don't. These actually, I'll get to it at the end, but they don't. This is not releasing until December of this year.
Okay.
I meant to, but I didn't go back and research the 2020 release. But if you do a comparison between 20 and 21, it'd probably be a pretty close. Because as we go through this, and I'll note this later as well, as you go through this, I did do a card comparison. I didn't do a price comparison because I didn't know what this price was, but card for card, parallel, inserts. There's a lot of similarities between the 2020 and the 2021 release as far as what the cards look like. So this is as far as the inserts and things. Character based with droids and creatures, so I guess that means we're not going to be getting any movie shots or set shots or planets, things like that. It's all going to be character based, which is good in my opinion. I like the character based ones. I could care less what's going on the set really of Mandalorian or whatever. So of course you're going to have your parallels with numbered parallels and from every color in the rainbow looks like, and then you're going to have the one-on-one printing plates. Those of course are going to be the hard to gets for anyone that's in this hobby. For the printing plates and the 101s, you pretty much you go for your character that you collect. Would be the target. Anything below probably 10, depending on the character too. You probably have to hunt for pretty good. Next we have autographs. Always the premium pull of any pack or any box is going to be your autographs. They actually said some of these autographs are on the card, which is getting more and more rare. And then from all the trilogies as well as the spinoffs, on as far as the stars go, we see Kira here, and then obviously these come in parallels too. Next, checklist information on these. We also have and we've been seeing these in sports for a while. The multi autograph cards, including the booklet autographs, which are really hard to find and very popular, especially if you get good characters. And then
I'm already thinking, man, I gotta get me one of them Darth Mauls. This is terrible.
They look good.
You're making me broke. These are cool.
These look great.
Yeah.
There's one-of-one Galactics. There's that one. I would love to see this. They didn't give an example. They say there's a one-of-one Galactic autograph book that has 20 signatures on it.
Oh.
It's one of a kind, so it's gonna good luck.
Yeah, it's gotta be some sort of mail away.
You guys are big Sid guys, right? Are you guys big Sid guys? Is that something for you?
No,
I'm talking about the old guys. Jedi and
Sig?
so
You mean
signature. Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah,
Those, go ahead, Wookie.
Nah, the more you talk about it, the more you explain, the more I see, the more I want it. Like it.
Oh yeah.
I'd really like to. Man, there's some classic signatures in there that you're not going to get every day anymore.
Maybe Wookie and I will go in or any of us. Maybe we'll go in and do a break, and then we can all be the viewers can see how pissed we are whenever we get like.
Sure, we can do that. That's fine. I'll throw a couple dollars on.
Signature.
I know.
Can you go back though? I wanted to focus on one thing that I thought I just want to see it. So obviously in sports, the big thing got to be with the autograph memorabilia cards, right? A swatch of jersey or whatever. Yeah. But bottom line, autograph pin relics return that have a piece of the pin used that the actor signed the card with. Then I guess they take the pin, break it up, and actually use it on the card.
That makes absolutely no sense to me.
I don't understand. This is all ridiculous to me.
To me that's a little silly, but yeah.
That is very dumb to me.
Yeah. Well.
Next, let's go.
We also have a piece of the napkin they used when we gave them lunch that day for coming in to sign.
Yeah.
So
the tablecloth under the place where they signed is also cut up into little swatches and put out there, and they sneezed on it. Or
we'll sell you anything, but seriously,
I'm okay with that. There may be some DNA on that, and I've got a Palpatine cloning facility just around the corner from me. And
all right, Sheldon Cooper.
All right, yeah. Up next, what's the next one?
Let's go to the next slide. These are some of the probably, absolutely lesser. Your odds of getting these inserts are a lot better than the autograph or the pin card. They have one with a stamp card. I think there's some sketches. There's a different kind of sketches as far as the presentation of the sketches and stuff. I'm not an expert on what all the different kind of sketches form. I don't know. But anyway, then of course you have parallels of those ranging down to the one-of-one gold.
Of course.
Yeah.
I like it because I do try and collect the stamps as well. I mean, you're hitting all my points here.
It looks good, right? I mean, It's probably not that hard a card to come by, but it looks nice. It really does. Yeah. I don't know if that's a real postal stamp or if that's just something, the commemorative stamp. I don't know. Oh, it says commemorative.
Pete, tell me this is authentic. Pete, please tell me this is just old. Tell me this is old guy talking. I'm not the only one that's lost on this. Like, these two guys are so excited about signature.
I think it's a mixture because I think it's different. Like, it's a different collecting mentality. Like, these guys are like in the stamps and the signatures, but meanwhile, like the more modern card collectors, all they think about are parallels. Of like, so not only got all these cards, you're gonna have purple versions, you're gonna have blue versions, orange versions, black versions.
All right, so let's cover everybody.
Hey, you know what? I was, talking about the old guy mentality. I collect a little bit of everything, and I think Solo had shown one of these. I was at the post office this week, and I was picking up some stamps for my mother, and I was wearing my mask, and I have a Star Wars mask that I wear, and the lady's like, "Oh, you like Star Wars?" I was like, "Oh, I love Star Wars," and she goes, "We have Star Wars stamps." I was like, "Well, let's see them."
The new page of droid stamps.
I have the droid. She showed me the droid stamp, and I'm like, yeah, I'll take some.
Yeah, they come out with them every now and then, and there's some foreign ones that are hard to find. But yes,
you're gonna use them though, Jedi, right?
Rabbit hole.
No, I ain't using them.
You're not using them?
No.
Why don't you just send me your money? I'll put it to better use than you. Just send me your money. Okay.
Hey,
Next slide.
There's a book of Spain Star Wars stamps.
This was supposed to be a short segment.
It is.
You guys are talking about going to the post office buying stamps.
All right. So, and this is the card right here, the example, the one that actually kind of got my blood flowing. And thank God it's an easy one because it goes back to those old, you guys know how I love the nostalgic era, action figures, comics. So they have this card right here, which is obviously shows the old action figures, different kind of stamps sketches. These are the easier to less rare inserts, but again, parallels. Always got to do parallels for the hunt.
Think of how many parallels and side sets we've already gone over when you're like, it's 100 base card sets, easy to finish. And then you go, this after this after this after this.
Yeah. All right, and then finally the 30,000 foot overview. 5 cards per pack, four packs per box, which kind of is to Pete's point about you're not going to put this set together on one box. It's not going to happen.
Well, you can't.
You might be lucky. You'd be lucky maybe if you get a case and you get. I don't know.
Look at it. 20 cards in that box.
Yeah, right.
In a box. In a hobby box, and this is not to be confused with the blaster boxes and all that stuff you find at Walmart and Target and stuff. The hobby boxes that you get at your card stores or order directly, usually 2 autographs per box, plus two additional inserts that might be autograph memorabilia, etc., and then 4 inserts and 4 parallels per box. And I think that's it. But
which is why the hobby box will be like $100 item, even though it should only be like $20 or something in the store. Because
I already see fights breaking out over this.
They're gonna have to stop selling cards at Target and Walmart.
if they stop the Pokemon train again because of this, I'm gonna be upset. All right, good job, Jedi. Way to cover it. I don't know, man. If you want to buy what's the biggest thing we can buy there? A box of boxes.
Okay.
Well, if they come out and are like $300 or $400 a box, then we may have to just pass.
We'll buy a case. Remind me after the show, and I'll talk to somebody. Maybe we can get a direct case to us or something like that. You just got to remind me. Not after the show. Remind me in the upcoming weeks. All right, good stuff. Hey, real quickly, I did want to go back to one point that we forgot, and everybody said don't forget this, and then I forgot to mention it anyways. So here we go back to this. This right here, this book right here, it is sold out the last we checked at Mike's site. However, Mayhew, but Wanted Beaver, something Beaver.
Mutant Beaver
had some still, but there's like a collection of
as of right now. They had some still, but I don't know if it's going to be there long.
Don't forget, we're taped too. So by the time you watch this, they might not be there.
Yeah, will not be there. Up next we have upcoming stuff, which is the Whills, which I really like. I know that they've been doing a lot of stuff on this too. The backstories. I think this is going to give us a lot of fill-in, kind of like a lot of the fill-in of the backstories. They're hitting the Rogue One stuff up and a little bit before maybe. Guardians of the Will, we're going to see the preview of the mag. We should have probably had what's Heartless's real name? Nick. For this. Yeah, maybe we will. Maybe we'll bring him on to review this. Anyways, MAGA, they have got the Guardians of the Whills. There's going to be the free preview. This wasn't supposed to be the final art, but I think it probably is. I think this might be the back cover to the left that has them on it because it's going to be 2 parts, a 2-parter, and you know how they like to do that. they're pretty much going to go back to the holy city before the Empire was there. You get my man Blaze, who's got that sweet cannon gun that never stops, like the Gatling gun, and Imwe, who is blind and will beat you with his stick or the bowcaster thing that shoots out of that. They are going to run into Saw Gerrera. We do have a couple times we've seen them before in comics. As you can see, Rogue One, they have the little Imwe is on the cover there. But, everybody's always chasing these for a bunch of other first appearances anyways.
What's that third cover right there, man? That thing is just gorgeous. I had never seen that until we previewed this earlier. That third cover on the right there is, man, that thing is, I love it.
It's a Mayhew cover.
It's a Mayhew cover. And I believe they refer to it as cover I, but it's the Mayhew cover. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I just think Mike Morello could have been on that cover.
Yeah, with the guitar. Yeah.
Okay.
So inside, this is the page you get. I would debate that this isn't a first appearance. It obviously has got their names on it, and they get a whole page, even though it's eyes and shadows in the background, and you get to really just see them both together at once. But either way, other books you might want to, if you want to collect. Number 2 has both of them on the cover, and there is a 1 in 25 that currently usually goes under ratio and is really awesome. That's the book on the right. You might want to pick that up if you're going to be collecting these guys, because I have a feeling that 125 might start disappearing. But the two, you can find the regular cover in dollar bins because nobody's grabbing that right now. Also, there's some backstory on at least Imwe in Galaxy's Edge. We've talked about these books 1,000 times, so I don't even know if you can find them around anymore. But then every time we find one, we're like, I can't believe we're still finding these around. Anyhow,
I see the regulars around. The regular cover.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been like good 6 months before the second print. We've seen the second print.
If you see one, pick it up, because I don't see them around Arizona at all.
Yeah. But this is what you get in here, and this is why this might be important, because this is probably the temple that he's in right currently with this new MAGA book or MAGA. Somebody say manga, whatever, coming out, and also has a couple more characters like the Temple Guard Fish Gills and the Temple Guard Baldy McBaldbags, and then you've got the Ninja Guard too. So we might actually get to see a bunch of different guards that already showed up coming out in this MAGA, whatever. All right, and that's recap. So that's 3. So if you want all their stuff, that's pretty much all their stuff. There is a couple novels where you get to see them too, including Guardians of the Will, which was a smaller book, and they have some stuff in the From a Certain Point of View. The second one. So there you go. That's what we got. I almost just closed out StreamYard.
I had one with collecting, and collecting is one with me.
Yeah. There you go.
Collecting is one with me.
So that's just a little recap on the Wills, just so you guys know that's coming up. We said we'd get, when it came closer, we'd let you know more about it. So there's the more that you get about it. Okay. Now we have Bad Batch, which when we talk about Bad Batch, it's going to be short this week. And it's only going to be short because I don't think it was a terrible episode, but what are you going to
Not a lot happened.
Not
It was
Not a lot of news.
I'll be honest with you. I always say story building. This is a filler episode. Okay, so we go back to a planet. We go back to a planet that's very popular. It's funny because we keep talking about all this Jedi Lost and all these old stories and everything like this. This planet actually had to deal with Dark Disciples. This planet showed up in Dark Disciples. It's a old separatist planet. I thought they did the rollout pretty good with it. This scene, which was in the trailer, you finally get to see, and it's when they kind of overrun the people. I put it out of order. So Money McScroogebags here. It comes out. The Sultan of isn't this the Monopoly guy's cousin, the Sultan? Anyways,
it looks like him.
And then we get the 18th droid of a service droid that sucks, and says, "Hey, if something goes wrong, follow my directions by the order." And you're like, okay, so something's going to go wrong. The Empire's here, and they're making him, the senator, pitch to them like how great the Empire is.
Wasn't he in the Clue movie? Didn't I?
Wait, isn't this the
Professor
guy?
Plum?
This was
Isn't this
original
the guy
Professor-
on
no,
the Tales
Colonel
from the
Mustard.
Flip Side shirt? This is the guy on the Tales from the Flip Side shirt, isn't it? Anyway,
What I noticed was he tells this droid to follow his orders. We never actually see him give the droid orders, so this is something that was pre-programmed, I guess, into the
Yeah, his
story.
orders were make a phone call.
and the
That's all
orders
they
are
were.
terrible, by the way. The orders are
If
call a
anything
bounty
happens
hunter.
to me, call
Call the
Lizard
lizard
Lady.
lady.
Call-
Call Ray
call-
Perlman and we'll
Yeah,
figure it
Ray
out.
Perlman, the Trandoshan lizard that's all underground to come save me. Like, good plan, moneybags.
So, as you can see, this is going well. All right. So, that's
Step
what
by
the plan
step.
was. The plan was to call her. There you go. Follow it step by step. It's one step. Call this
One step
person.
plan.
Yeah.
Call the shoe, the dog, and the the race car to come save me.
I thought this was kind of cool though. How so the Bad Batch goes there. They leave. There's a big argument between like, should we leave because she's being hunted, which makes perfect sense. They set Omega to keep her behind. I thought this was interesting because when you see the scene and this is the robot, they end up running into a robot. It reminded me of these two things from the comic book. So I thought they're kind of homages to like when you first see the non-Bad Batch, the real troopers jump off. And obviously that cover appearance here on 37 where you see him come out too. I thought it was kind of reminiscent of that. Plus we need to put more slides on. So I did. Yeah, I did think it was cool how they baited the droid this time, which was pretty interesting. They used the bait, but then they did it twice. Like you did it once. How many more times are you going to do it? But they did the whole thermal detonator thing that we've seen before where the droid comes out, the C-3PO trap thing.
Well, the second time she baited herself. They didn't do it. She
right. That's actually a throwback to a Lego C-3PO scene, which was kind of cool, but whatever. I mean, is what it is.
It's a great plan if C-3PO came up with it.
Well, they weren't really the master strategist that Omega is. So all they had to do was put on stormtrooper uniforms, and nobody would know who they are. They're going to walk around the place freely. They just put on the stormtrooper.
I was thinking the whole time is why aren't they wearing? Why don't they just take some of these stormtrooper uniforms with them and just come out in stormtrooper uniforms because they could do it. So
anywhere.
There is the little back and forth about like Echo. He's saving a separatist, and the separatists are the guys that tortured him and like cut off his arm and all that type of stuff. So I guess there was that little emotional whatever. Whatever. It's the Monopoly Man. Now we got Stu Younger here, the card pro, or as you say, Bobby Fischer, the chess pro. Where they take a little juvenile and the mafia decides to use them to gamble. Yes, go look up Stu Younger, best card player.
No, go look up Josh Waitskin. You'll enjoy that movie more.
I don't think they made. Oh yeah, maybe they did make a Stu Younger movie.
Searching for Bobby Fischer was a
either way. So we've got the kid who's a gambler because they're great at strategy. Sid uses
Queen's
it.
Gambit might be more. I'm doing okay. We're
Sid uses her obviously to pay back the debt that they all owe. She does so because she's a master strategist. I like this where he gives her the shoulder. You've got Hunter's talking like this isn't good or whatever, and he goes, "Hey, boom!" Gives him the little shoulder, like watch what you say about my sister. And there you go. That was pretty it. So I did this little faded thing where he's like, oh, he's angry at first, but then he sees her and how sad she is, and then he's like, oh, maybe she's actually doing well. So I will challenge her to a game, and if she wins, which she will beat me, then she can go on the rest of our chess. And that's the end. I didn't even have time to redo the last end page, but she'll be going on the rest of the missions now. I hope I didn't taint anybody's opinion of this episode with my opinion on the episode, but we will start off in reverse order because Solo Wookiee, I would be surprised if he gave this episode more than a 1. Solo. Surprise us all.
I 2.5, and the only reason he gets that is because the action scenes were really pretty good. The action scenes were thought out and planned out. I thought, it does show a bit of their covert ability and ability to get in and kind of do some sneaky clone awesome stuff. So that's it. 2.5.
Okay.
You think that's why they didn't bring Omega along?
So they could
They had to be more covert. Well, I mean, so they could be more covert, and I don't know.
They were
it
like,
seems weird that they brought her along on everything else. But.
Dude, sorry I didn't get that out, but they were half bent over because I didn't have enough time. But they were half bent over. They weren't really hiding. They were bent over in the middle of a courtyard, not even going
During
behind
the day.
Yeah, bright day in dark armor when everything's light.
Yeah.
Everybody else is wearing white. They're wearing
They would-
black.
They would definitely get the Metal
What the hell
Gear
kind of
Solid
cover are you talking
exclamation
about?
mark.
If you stand in the middle of a courtyard, all you got to do is hunch over, and people just whoop.
Whoa.
It's like a Scooby Doo behind the
disappeared.
tree.
I was surprised we didn't get the Rob Liefeld,
The gun post.
This
Dual
scene right
guns.
here. Yeah.
Needed the xylophone when they were sneaking around.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez, oh, Pete. Anyways, JJ, go ahead. What do you got?
I'm gonna. You know what? I'm gonna give it a 3. I was 2.5, but I liked the ending. I liked the chess thing. I know that was kind of thrown in there, but I kind of always figured Omega would be the one to get them out from under Sid's grasp or whatever you want to call it. So I liked that they kind of finally resolved that issue. But yeah, I give it a 3. And the action was not done terribly. It was done well.
I don't know if
it was
done good though.
Well, it was not the best we've seen. We'll put it that way. But I didn't think it was that bad.
I do
I
find it.
agree.
This is what I love about this part of the show. Everything that Solo says, somebody says the complete opposite, and then somebody's going to say the complete opposite to somebody else. Like he gave it a 2.5 or 3, which is fair enough. I'm not debating the grade on it, but he's like, yeah, the action was great and everything else, and they were so covert. The first
I
thing
didn't
is
think
like,
it was that bad.
No, they're not covert. I didn't think it was that bad, but one good. All right,
There's
Jedi.
just a couple of the tank scenes, the action scenes that I really.
Yeah.
The rest of it was like.
Go ahead, Jedi. What do you got?
So first, let's just get this out of the way for the viewers. At the time of this recording, my wife has not seen it.
Oh,
Right, so let's just get that out of the way. Okay. Okay. So, but I have. I feel like I'm echoing exactly what JJ just said. I wanted to give it a 2.5 because I thought it was a filler. But as far as fillers go, it was a decent filler. But at the end, I always love the interaction, that interdynamic interaction between Omega and the Bad Batch. And that at the very end, that interaction, family type interaction between them, I found a little touching. I liked it. I thought it definitely gave it. So a 3 is going to be my score, just because of that ending scene and the fact that Omega was able to get them out from under the thumb. Not that she'd been terrible to them, but out from under their indebtedness to Lizard Lady. I can never think of her name. Sid. And now maybe they're free to do other things other than her little, errands. They can start focusing more on who's out for Omega, why, how do we get this price off her head or whatever. So yeah, 3 for a lot of the same reasons JJ said.
excellent. All right, what do you got, Pete?
All right. Well, you guys again, you swayed me a little bit and got me to also add an extra half point to what I was initially going to say, because you did remind. I did like the tank action stuff, like that stuff bit was kind of fun, but while it did feel a bit like filler, I do still think they did move the story forward in a lot of ways. Getting out from under Sid, while you would think, hey, maybe we should sideline Omega, not bring her on these missions, they quickly showed, going to get away from that. So they thought about it. They're not going to do it. She has her uses. They could have used her. He even thought she was there. He was saying, you and Omega go do this, and she wasn't there. Like Hunter even screwed that up, thinking she was there. But I still thought they moved things forward with that. I love the family aspects too, of how they're getting closer knit and how their relationships are growing. So I'm giving it a 3.5. Ooh. I'm gonna be the highest score so far because I was gonna give it a 3, but reminding me not all the action was goofy, because some of that stuff was kind of silly. Gave me that extra bump to give it a half.
Excellent. So I know I called it filler, and the only reason I'm not giving it, I'm going to give it a 3. The only reason I'm not giving it below 3 is because of this. If they didn't do the last part where she moved that on, if they extended that to another episode, it would have been completely filler, right? But you're right. Now it gives us an option where it opens up for the rest. So it's like a conversion in the arc, right? We're at like episode whatever we are now. It's going to go over it. Now they can open it up so they can explore more things, including maybe going back and finding Rex for a little bit and everything else. This one actually at the end had a ton of story moving, but it was 5 minutes of story moving, and the action I would debate with all the people that said the action was good. They stunned one thing and then they dropped it in there, and then like even Monocle McMonocle Bags was the guy that like blew it up, and none of it. He was like, okay. I mean, I wouldn't say I found the action that great, and it feels like they spent the first 95% of the episode just to get to that little point of having Echo help out a separatist, which is like,
yeah.
Did anyone else think that when Omega was doing these odd jobs for Sid around the tavern, just killing,
she was teaching her karate?
Yes. But no, I thought, for part of me, and I think it played out better the way they did it, but part of me was like, God, I would love to see her like just wandering around, exploring, and finding that Boba Fett helmet in her office, the white one, and just kind of like looking at it and being like, maybe even trying it on or something. I thought that would have been for fanfic.
Isn't that a Super Commando? Cool. Isn't that, I know we call it the white Boba Fett one, but isn't it technically a white Superman Commando? No.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Is that not what that is?
Okay. Boba Fett's prototype helmet.
Yeah. Because did they? And at one point they called that the white. They called it the Super Commando helmet, like the. I don't know. Either way, but yeah, that would be cool. That would have been cool. It still can happen. Maybe she can bounce back, fall backwards, and it fall down off the shelf and hit her and just drop
her head.
Yeah.
You know what would have been fun? Because she's force sensitive, it would have been fun if she found a lightsaber.
She's not force sensitive, dude.
I don't know.
Her skill is strategy, and I mean,
it's true.
Whether or not that's her only skill, we'll find out. But
she doesn't need to be force sensitive with Miyagi-Do.
Episode 1 was on, I think, late last night, and it had Qui-Gon going, he can see things before that happens, just a split second, which is why he can pod race. Maybe that's how she knows the strategy.
Maybe that, or maybe like a very scientific and intellectual species decide to focus on, I don't know, strategy, because that's what they do. Oh, who knows? Either way, as long as we're not upset that they have named the Boba Fett ship, I think we'll all be in good shape at this point.
No, we're good with that. We're good with it. Han ship, Luke ship.
The Millennium Falcon's different. I will say this: we've talked about it a couple times. Jedi's really disappointed with this, and I understand why. I do understand why people, because they read clickbait and they see articles and they have child actors kind of saying like they shouldn't change the name, even though they go, we don't think they changed the name. But when you're selling toys to kids and when you have kids that are young, they refer to that as Boba Fett ship. The same thing with the Bad Batch ship. They refer to that as Bad Batch ship. Lego is not the official maker of naming things. That's not what they do. Okay.
Well, you're right. And as far as the initial news for the clickers out there that Disney was doing this, etc. I mean, that's bogus. It was just Lego doing it to target their audience, or target their consumers. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get it. Does it bother me a little bit? Mm-hmm. A little bit, because I'm an old guy, and I don't change. Change doesn't come easy to me sometimes. But
it's not a change.
I'm good. I'm good with it. I'm fine with it.
But Jedi, my question is, if it wasn't for clickbait, would you even have noticed? Like, because
I wouldn't have known if Pete hadn't posted that link in our little production chat room. I wouldn't even have known.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think people would have known. And the only thing I'll say about it is this: like, when my kids play with that, not the Millennium Falcon, which they do call the Millennium Falcon, and I tried to correct the kids before and call it the Slave One, but even to that, they're like Boba Fett ship, because that's how they refer to it. It's not like the Millennium Falcon where they've used the name a bazillion times. So when you say like Han ship, nobody refers to Han's ship as Han's ship, because it's not actually his technically either. You want it from Lando, and then technically, if you want to go back before that, not even Lando's ship, but they refer to it as Millennium Falcon. That's one thing. Slave One, however, when kids refer to it, to mommy and daddy, they refer to that ship as, it's weird because Razor Crest is referred to as Razor Crest. The kids call it Razor Crest, not just mine. Like when you're in the toy aisles for all us toy hunters, the kids are calling it, hey, Dad, Mom, where's Razor Crest? There's Razor Crest. But when you see Boba Fett's ship, now, should they have called it Starship? No. If you're going to call it a ship because you're selling it to kids, call it a ship. I don't know what the Starship thing is, but
Yeah.
I just don't think that's the thing that we're all going to die on this week, considering we let Lucas change Han shot first. Which, if that's going to happen, let's start off there. Let's start off at the beginning while he's putting stuff into the movies that we didn't need because he's got new graphics and he wants to get Lucas Arts off the ground. Let's start there, and when we fix those problems, then I'll jump on how we decide to describe a ship that we're selling to people.
Yeah, Max Rebo's band, that new song that they put in.
Oh, yeah.
My kids had to the age of 6, and they understood and knew that. After the age of 6, if you call that Boba's ship, you're grounded for at least a week. Go to your room, you're grounded.
Right, but do know this, like when it's other people that aren't, I think this is one thing we should probably focus on too. We need the fandom to continue. Okay. Mm-hmm. So for us to be upset about Han, like I don't yell at my kids that Han shot first. Okay. I don't yell at any kids that Han shot first. Cause like, it's not their Han will never shoot first. And like,
well, the fact that I'm
not trying to dog on, but
no, I mean, we kid each other, but you know, like I said, was I kind of taken back? Like, what? Why? Really?
Yeah.
You know, yes, but you know, you ask my wife. I get upset about 50 things a day. So just, I mean, it's just part of being.
But in the mindset, they've gone ham. This has gone ham, and you know, for a while there, it seemed like they had turned the curve on the toxicity and the clickbait, because the clickbait leads to toxicity. It really does. Like, I know people try to like capture that word and use it for all types of stuff. Like, oh, this is toxic, and these people need to be canceled. And toxicity, no, the actual toxicity is when you use this clickbait to have people who have no arm in the fight to just get them riled up, get mad. Because change bad, me don't understand what's going on. Look, the bottom line is how many people, you go to your next door neighbor, hold that thing up and go, hey, what is this? And they'll be like, do you know what this is? And they'll be like, yeah, that's Boba Fett's ship. They're not, the majority of people, even if they've watched, Solo, you're saying I get it, but you're not anybody's neighbor. And if you are, nobody's knocking on your door.
There are occasionally small children on his lawn. So
if I hold that up and my neighbor says that, them's fighting words.
Yeah, I think it depends on the demographic that you're. Someone my age or Solos, or even I would say if you're old enough.
Lest we forget this franchise is 43 years old.
Exactly.
It's gonna have to grow and change over time.
What's iconic to us as people that have been fans for decades is not iconic to a person that's been a fan for 8 years.
Right, but I'm just saying
not the same.
I'm even saying before that, to sell to the casual fan, let's not make it a big thing where we're going, you're calling that the wrong thing. If they want Boba Fett's ship, which is called Slave One, by the way, you're like, oh, cool, Boba Fett said, hey, did you know that Slave One? This is why. Like, that's what you should be doing instead of writing articles of little Boba Fett who used to play him, who nobody gives a crap who that person is, said, well, it would be a shame if they changed the name, but I don't think anybody has. No, and put the headline being like, old Boba Fett actor is upset that they changed the name.
Now, how did they even find him? Is he like their barista at the Starbucks in the neighborhood?
Where'd they dig that up?
That's Boba Fett's ship. It didn't.
I
saw you on my yard last week. Weren't you that kid on my yard last week?
Knocked on Solo Wookiee's door and he's yelling at some kid.
I didn't see any.
Slave One, you little.
I didn't see any news on it, but if you ask a guy like Mark Hamill, who's been in it literally since the beginning, he probably doesn't care that much, or thinks it's even a good thing. Like, even inside the stars, the guys that make this stuff, there's going to be differences of opinion,
which is fine. Look, man. I think if you ask this panel what that ship is called, is there anybody here who doesn't call it Slave One?
Yep.
No, Is there anybody who's not Slave One? Is there anybody who's not going to refer to it as Slave One?
Yeah.
If
you ask me what the name of the ship was, but if you step outside our circle and you ask 20 people, you're probably going to get 2 people that respond.
Is there anybody on the panel too that might say that says that this is an incorrect statement? Slave One is Boba Fett's ship. That's Boba Fett's ship. No? Anybody gonna say that different? So I don't see a problem.
Actually, it's Django Fett. No,
yeah. Because again, it's also a matter of who you're talking to and who you're referring to. Like I know it's Slave One, but depending on who I'm speaking with, if I'm talking to a friend who watched Star Wars and likes Star Wars, I'm not gonna say, "Hey, what did you think of Slave One showing up?" I'm gonna say, "Hey, what did you think of when Boba Fett's ship showed up in last week's episode of Mandalorian?"
Well, think about when you talk
the person I'm speaking to doesn't.
Think about when you talk to people about Mandalorian and the Razor Crest exploding. Yeah, I talked to I don't know how many people about that moment, and 90% of the people are like, "Well, what happened when you thought Mando's ship blew up?" Nobody said, "Hey, I really missed the Razor Crest blowing up."
I actually think that they did a better job because the Razor Crest does get brought up a lot. I think that they did a better job of marketing that name. Mm-hmm. But even on that, remember they screwed it up on the box the first time too. So like, there's nothing holy there with Lego and the naming of things. I'm just saying, like, let's not chase fans away because they call it Boba Fett. Well, if they call it Boba Fett, time out. If they call it Boba Fett Starship, though, I might have a problem with that. But like at the end of the day, I don't.
Yeah, it's Jefferson's Starship.
JJ's making a great point. I mean, they and so are you, Marco, that they never really don't call it Slave One until Mando, isn't it? I mean, that's the first time that they ever refer to it as Slave One, isn't it?
Maybe on film, maybe.
Yeah, on film.
Yeah, on film.
Yeah,
it is.
I don't think they
Boba Fett
said
was kind
the
of
name.
Boba Fett and all the. Well, Boba Fett was kind of an enigma in all those movies anyway.
Well, it would have had the only reason, but even that, the only reason you know the name of the ship is because of the toy. Like that's where it came out. So like, it's such a like weird thing to do that. Once again, I'm just saying we want to raise fans, right? Like we want to. Star Wars is for everybody. It's not for you to hoard. And to do that, no matter what you got to do, you have to make it acceptable. Our show has seen that before too. We got a lot less viewers when we were just being elitist Star Wars people, not even realizing it, thinking that we thought people knew what we were talking about.
Right.
Right? There's JJ was in the chat going, this is the greatest ever. And like, there's like, going, what are you talking about, dude? What in the world? I have no clue what you're talking about. Right?
I've had a great time naming other ships since this happened, just because that's kind of the person I'm a sarcastic son of a bitch.
No, I like that.
I mean, like Han ship.
Wrong with that.
The Death Star is now Tarkin's residence.
There you go.
Unfortunately for Tarkin, it was.
It should have been Tarkin's tomb. That's what you could have called it.
And that's also where we miss Leaky. Leaky asking those questions like, wait a second, what are you guys talking about? Like getting that extra level.
He'll be back next week,
everybody.
Tarkin's summer home.
Yeah. No, but like
it got really hot in there at one point. And
if I'm going to get upset with ship things, like you heard last week, I kind of questioned it really quickly and let it go by. I'm more mad about the Cad Bane ship. I'm more mad about that. Like, that's like, but I'm not mad really. I am mad.
There's a difference there too that they changed the name of the ship. Yes. Like it was one name and now it's another name. This they're just saying was Boba Fett Star. They didn't really change the name.
They changed the ship.
They changed the ship. They just took the ship out.
They changed the whole ship. That's what he's mad about.
They changed the entire ship. That's true.
Yeah. They took the ship out and the name because the name obviously isn't. I don't know. I don't know why. I'm not going to say why till they figure it out. But I do know this: George Lucas. Every time I see him, I yell at him. Han shot first, and I will do that to the day I die or he dies, and I'll probably sit on his grave. Han shot first, so I'm not.
Like I said earlier, why is Anakin Hayden Christensen at the end of that?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, like Luke's gonna recognize what he looked like when he was 20 years old.
Yeah, right. Like so, there's all these type of things too, and you can do it if you want to be like Jedi. Feel free to be like Jedi and name every ship something different. That's funny. That's fine. That's not toxic. But going out there and saying, this is burning down the house and great fans. Okay, cool, man. Because I'll tell you, go Celebration. And if we had Celebration, I don't think anybody would give there's two craps about what the heck it's called. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And let's build more people so that those celebrations come back and they get bigger and bigger because they're hella fun, bro. They are hella fun to make celebrations.
Don't ruin the future based on the present.
Yeah.
Like if you don't like it, you don't like it. And talk about how you don't like it, but don't ruin the future or poison it or whatever you want to call it or say I'm not going to be a Star Wars fan anymore. There's good stuff to come still. Just because they changed the name of one ship is no reason to give everything up.
If they actually even changed it.
And I won't run you off, but just realize there's rules in my house. You will call it by its name.
This is why nobody's knocking on your door. It's not because like it's because like They're like, hey, did you go? Hey, he's a big Star Wars fan over there. Yeah, but he's also crazy as shit. Don't go over there. He's always angry, yelling at people about staying off his rocks. Come on, don't do it.
His rocks.
So nobody's gonna ever ask you. That's why they changed the name. They changed the name because the Solo Wookiee, because they went out and knocked on people's doors, and the normal people said that's Boba Fett's ship, and they said there's a super fan over there, but he's crazy because he yells about staying off his rocks and something about harvesting water. I don't know. Okay. Anyways, that's our PSA for the day. I hope it made some people feel better. We're probably gonna get some hate mail on that one. That's okay, man.
Yeah, that would have been a good conversation, I think, if we were doing this live.
I don't think so because it would have gone on for like 3 hours and people.
It already went on for like 3 hours.
You would see the sunset behind me.
Yeah. So that's it. Speaking of that, I'm getting texts that they need more gas for the boat, so I need to go and put gas in the boat. So we're going to take off, guys. You guys have a good one. I hope you had a great holiday. We will see you next week. It will be live again next week. By the way, Jordan, speaking of people who are trolls, don't call people and leave messages. And if you do, you can call me. Because next time you do it, I'm going to call your mom.